We are a peaceful people. Struggle is we struggle, and we don't look for trouble. Just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know. We gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Our fathers came here and they lived and died here, and we ain't moving nowhere. Make no mistake, 'cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupununi and the Essequibo, the time when though we may criticize it, this is our home, we love it, and we need to keep it. We have that right. So we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass. So we ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass.
Five, starting at 5, 4, 3.
Welcome once again. This is the second debate in the Second Speakers National Youth Debating Competition. This afternoon, we have another interesting debate. Our judges today are returning judges from last year, and they are going to be judging two keen competitors also coming back from last year. Earlier today, we witnessed the Linden Superstars Youth Group taking on the Golden Home Dharmic Youth Organization in the first round of the competition. The Golden Home Youth Organization emerged as winners this morning. This afternoon, we should expect another exciting battle as our youth vie for the coveted title of champions of this year's competition. Our esteemed judges for this second debate are Dr. Congratulations Delon from last year, an extra addition to your name now in front this time. Dr. Delon Fraser is the chief judge. Dr. Fraser is a passionate servant leader and a police officer by profession, Assistant Superintendent Fraser. He enjoys working on committees, especially those dealing with public speaking and law. He was awarded a doctorate in philosophy and acquired a Master's of Business Administration, a Bachelor of Social Sciences degree in International Relations, a Bachelor's of Law, and an advanced diploma in project management. Dr. Fraser has judged many debates, locally and internationally. He's a distinguished Toastmaster. He is also the secretary of the Guyana Table Tennis Association. I never saw him at any competition I played, and a Franklin Covey facilitator. Gold Global Peace Ambassador, Scouts, Global Shape, and has recently been accredited the status of UN Peace Ambassador. Our next judge is Ms. Anisha Shaw, returning judge. Welcome back, Ms. Anisa Shaw Mohammed. Welcome back, Ms. Mohammed, who is the head of the Guyana Learning Channel at the Ministry of Education and chairperson of the Board of Governors of the Westminster Secondary School. Ms. Mohammed has been involved in the privatized media communication sector for more than 11 years. She held the post of Chief Executive Officer before coming into the public service. Ms. Mohammed is extremely passionate about her career, technology, education, women's rights. She's a published author also. She most recently concluded a training program in media affairs, communication, and engagement with Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, India, and is currently pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Public Management. Congratulations, Ms. Mohammed. Ms. Miracle Miller, is an active volunteer of the Georgetown Starbuck Lewis Club. Her love for the English language propelled her to the position of Best Graduating English Student in the year 2012 when she completed her high school diploma at Christchurch Secondary School. In 2016 and 2017, Ms. Miller participated in a youth training program hosted by the Department of Youth and was selected to be one of our youth ambassadors to the UN Youth Assembly. Ms. Miller copped the Best Prize Award for Youth Parliament 2018. Today she holds a bachelor's degree in engineering in applied exploration and geology. Ms. Miller holds a firm belief in serving our country. Congrats, Miracle. You went to graduate when last year. So we have now all three of our returning judges being graduates at different levels in the tertiary education sector. Congratulations to all of you. It's a lesson to all of our young people. You have to continue to train and to qualify yourself. Today's teams, the proposing team for this afternoon's debate is the Young Professional Youth Group. The Young Professional Youth Group was formed in 2015 by Ms. Kashanti Ramdular. It started as a group aiming to coach young people about careers, career development, all for the professional world. The three participating members are products of the professional world. The first speaker would be Mr. Randy Diochan, 27 years old from Strathspey, East Coast, Demerara. The second speaker will be Vashti Rambaran, 20 years old from Numpra. And the third speaker, Ms. Dimple Jennifer Basdio, 21 years old from Annandale. The opposing group is the Madhya Youth Group. The Madhya Youth Group was created in 2021. The aim of this group is to be community conscious, to elevate and enhance the future of its members through education and community service. The group's activities include maintaining a clean environment, preserving nature through sustainable measures which promote an eco-friendly atmosphere. Their first speaker is going to be Ms. Quinita Patrick, 17 years old from Madhya, Ms. Davina Ramphal, 18 years old from Madhya, and Ms. Ariana Roberts, 13 years old, also from Madhya. The mood today is driver's license should not be issued to persons under 21 years of age. I now declare this debate open. I call on the first speaker for the proposition, Mr. Randy Diochan from the Young Professional Youth Group from the East Coast. Randy, the floor is yours.
2022, January 24th. Motorcyclist 19 suffered a fractured skull in an accident. He was speeding and failed to adhere to a stop sign. Newsroom. 2022, February 2nd. 2 killed, 6 injured in a horrific Mahaica accident after high-speed police chase as a 20-year-old flees police with teenage girlfriend. One of the victims in the deadly Mahaica accident was a 2021 youth parliamentarian. Culture News. 2022, February 11th. 18-year-old motorcyclist dies after crashing into park pickup trying to save his cell phone. He was not wearing his helmet. Newsroom. 2022, March 8th. Speeding car kills 3 in front of bar at De William, West Coast Lamraro. The 18-year-old drunk driver was drag racing with another car. News source. 2022, March 15th. Quarantine youths dead after road race ends in crash. The 20-year-old was a taxi driver. Guyanese critic. Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, esteemed judges, learned colleagues, attentive audience. My name is Randy Diochan, and I'm here to strongly propose the mood. Driver's license should not be issued to persons under 21 years. As the first speaker, I'll be elaborating on the legal framework and accident statistics. Our second speaker will be expounding on driving under the influence and traffic congestion, while our third speaker will deliver on physiological and psychological aspects. Mr. Speaker, I would like to define some key terms in the mood. Sorry. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines driver license as a license issued under a governmental authority that permits the holder to operate a motor vehicle. The Oxford Dictionary defines should as a verb used to indicate obligation and the verb issued to produce or provide something official. Section 34 of the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Act 5102 states that 1. A person under 16 years of age shall not drive a motor vehicle on the road. 2. A person under 17 years of age shall not drive a motor vehicle other than a motorcycle or an invalid carriage on the road. 3. A person under 18 years of age shall not drive a hire car, motor bus, motor lorry, or motor tractor on the road. Mr. Speaker, the process to obtain a driver's license in Guyana. Buy a package, study the package for 1 month, attend 4 one-hour classes within 2 weeks, write an exam 1 week later, wait for the result to be posted to your home. Then attempt the driving practical. But we are not living in a utopia, Mr. Speaker. We live in reality that have obstacles that block us. Therefore, I would like to ask the Lorne opposition, what happens to teens who are academically challenged? Massive fraud at driver's license exam. 106 write tests, 207 pass, according to a Culture News article published on April 19, 2018. Furthermore, some of our laws and conventions are in contradiction. For example, to get a license, to drive a taxi, you need at least 2 years driving experience. However, it is quite possible that an 18-year-old who just obtained his license, 18-year-old who just obtained his license, able to drive with the family, friends, colleagues, for lack of a better term, isn't it passengers? What really is the difference from a taxi and an 18-year-old carrying out some friends and families, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, to apply for a minibus license, one must be at least 25 years of age and have several years of driving experience so as to ensure the safety of the passengers. However, an 18-year-old who just obtained a license can potentially injure or kill the same passengers in the minibus. We do not have separate roads for private cars and minibuses. Therefore, the inexperienced and experienced drivers are using the same road in the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. It is mind-boggling as to why parliamentarians never took a lead role to amend the age for a driver's license. Don't you agree with me, Mr. Speaker? After all, we're sharing the same road and similar responsibilities, which are to keep ourselves safe and others safe too. Mr. Speaker, the Maritime Administration Department document MSCL 47. The checklist requirements for a new boat master grade 1 license clearly states that applicants must be 21 years or older. Are the people at Maritime Administration discriminating against our youths? No, it is because a person below 21 years lack the responsibility and experience to have a boat license. Arguments that raising the age of consent will take freedom away from young people is not only inaccurate, Mr. Speaker, it's woefully sinister. On the 28th of September 2020, a Kaitro News article published states that our young drivers were mostly affected with a 47% increase in food fatalities. And this is not just a local problem, Mr. Speaker. The American Automotive Association, a 102-year-old organization, stated in April 2016 that teenage drivers are 4 times more likely to involve in a car crash than adults. They even went on to say that traffic crashes are the #1 cause of death and injury for people ages 16 to 20, with 5,600 teens dying in motor vehicle collisions each year. Mr. Speaker, raising the age for driving can reduce the number of accidents. Therefore, we could save many lives each year. Also, a raise in the driving age not only reduces the number of road fatalities, but reduces the number of serious injuries. There is a famous saying that whatever will not change with a change in time will ultimately result in failure. So it stands for the law as well. Society is not static by nature, it is dynamic. It needs to change with time to survive. My most honorable friends on the other side, in simple terms, every day bucket a go well, one day bottom must fall off. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Randy. And straight to the first speaker for the opposition, Ms. Quinita Patrick from the Madia Youth Group. Is Quinita ready?
Distinguished judges,
Go ahead now.
Distinguished judges, members of the proposition, viewers all, a pleasant afternoon to you. I, Quinita Patrick, first speaker of the opposition, stand firmly against the move which state, and I quote, driver's license should not be issued to person under 21, end of quote. Before I begin, permit me to define few key terms in the move. As defined by the Oxford Dictionary, driver's license is a document permitting persons to drive a motor vehicle. Should was defined by the Collins Dictionary as something ought to happen. Issue can be defined as something given to. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines under as lower level. Judges, are we still interested in listening to our learned preposition? Certainly not. Honorable judges, meticulous timekeepers, attentive audience, and my learned preposition. The mood can now be redefined as a document permitting persons to drive a motor vehicle is ought to not be given to persons of lower level. I, Quinita Patrick, will be expounding on the fact that persons under 21 are eligible to receive a driver's license. Our second speaker, Ms. Davina Ramphal, will elaborate on the importance of having a license at a young age, while my third speaker, Ariana Roberts, will emphasize on the rights of having a license. Judges, my team and I will put a rest with this issue. I would like to remind us that the Traffic Headquarters Evaluation Statistic Report explicate the most fatal and serious accident that would have occurred from January 1st to the 1st of March 2020 and 22 are caused by drivers between ages 22 to 45. What message does this register to our brain? Certainly that our young drivers are more strategic, cautious, skilled, and knowledgeable about the roadways, and thus must be eligible to uplift a driver's license under the age of 21 without hesitant of a doubt. More so, persons between the ages 16 to 21, due to the economical situation, cannot purchase their own vehicle. I would like to further state that because of this same economic situation, they would not be able to compensate drivers financially as it relates to injuries or damages done to their vehicles. As proposed to the persons between ages 22 to 45 who are more financially stable, and it is because of this, judges, persons between ages 16 and 21 will use more caution when driving rather than the older folks. On a scale from 1 to 10, 100 out of 10 would not even be enough to limitize a person under 21 from obtaining a license. Fellow proposition, Does your house have a foundation? Hopefully so. Even your dream will teach you that persons under 21 strive as a foundation of a nation. So yes, and I repeat, yes, the granting of a license should be issued to persons under 21 without the hesitant movement of a signal wave in the ocean. Judges, an article filed by Culture News dated February 19, 2021, end of quote. Drunk drivers not by patrol to appear in court, end of quote. Two persons were involved, which was Troy Stewart, 42 years, and Kimraj Cecil, age 30. My proposition, wouldn't this be enough to turn your flashlights to the foundation of your nation? To put the final roof on my house, I would boldly volunteer to inject into the minds of our beloved proposition that license should be issued to persons under the age of 21. That's my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kunita. I want to remind our debaters, you have to put your cameras on. So we were unable to see the visuals of the last presenter. The next speaker is exercising the option to present. Yes, the video is on. Thank you very much. The next speaker is Ms. Vashti Ramaran from the Young Professionals Youth Group. Vashti, the floor is yours.
Gracious judges, members of the opposition who stand to be informed, my most learned colleagues of the proposition, attentive audience, all. I'll be expounding on why driver's license should not be issued to persons 21 years and under, more so the impacts it has on the society. Slashed across the Kaichur newspaper on the 20th of September 2020. Youth population mostly affected by 42% increase in road accidents. The statistics shows that road fatalities are more prevalent among drivers between the ages 17 to 24. Mind you, most of these fatalities occurred mainly on Saturdays and Sundays during 1800 hours and midnight and are caused by speeding and driving under the influence of alcohol. Esteemed judges, there was once no legal age of drinking in the United States. In the 1970 and 1975, nearly half of the states set their drinking ages to 18, 19, and 20. But the legal age wasn't set over medical reasons as of recent. Mr. Speaker, none of this had any medical or psychological basis, but it was the increase in road traffic accidents among young people, according to Ms. Suzette Edwards, a clinical psychologist. My dear friends on the other side may want to say or highlight that the legal age of drinking is 18. However, according to the Foundation of Drug Free World Organization, the death toll of teenagers drunk driving accident is 1,393 in 2018, nearly 4 fatalities per day of the year. Therefore, it is also believed that the age of drinking should also be reduced. Judges, all of this relates to drivers below 21 wanting to party every weekend. It is for this and other reasons that individuals 25 years and under are rated as high-risk customers, according to Naliko Nafico, a Guyanese-based insurance company. For starters, a high-risk driver will have fewer options in gaining a cheaper insurance because they are most likely to be involved in road fatalities. Now tell me, members of the opposition, if insurance companies rate 25 years old and under as being high risk, what is 21 years old? Incalculable risk? Now, another upside of raising driving age is that fewer cars will be on our roadways. This is just a simple math game. If we increase the driving age, young teenagers would own fewer vehicles and there would therefore be less congestion on our roads. Moreover, commuting will become much easier and the time spent in traffic would reduce. This would also result in lessen environmental impacts. For example, it would be less threat to human lives and carbon dioxide. Also, global warming. This is caused from the emissions of vehicles. Attentive opponents take, for instance, the traffic on our East Bank and West Coast roads. Every morning, midday, and even in the afternoons. All day, Mr. Speaker, all day. Our roads aren't even built for traffic moving fast enough to get to work on time. Think about it, judges. What if we take off all of these 16 to 21 years old from the roadways who are driving? What would our traffic be like? Exactly. There would be a significant decrease in the traffic congestion. Therefore, intelligent members of the opposition, let us not stick our heads into the clouds. Let us face the facts, the truths, however bitter it may be. Driver's license should not, and I repeat, should not be issued to persons under the age of 21. I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Davina. Our next speaker comes from the, sorry, that was Vashti, right?
Correct.
Yes. So our next speaker is Ms. Davina Ramphal from the Madhya Youth Group. We have Davina. Yeah.
Good afternoon, all. I
Hold
am
on.
the Veena Ramphal, second. Good afternoon, all. I am the Veena Ramphal, second speaker of the opposition. Today, it's my privilege to be elaborating on the importance of having a driver's license under the age mentioned. Judges, driving is an important milestone that allows teenagers to transition from childhood into adulthood independently. As they grow into young adults, they feel the need to spread their wings from ventures from the nest. My Lord friends of the preposition, please listen keenly. With driver's license comes a sense of responsibility of person under 21. Teenagers must learn quickly to look out for their own safety as well as safety around them. Driving gives one freedoms and teach responsibility. Having a driver's license as a teen also help in your community in various ways. In cases of emergency. In most countries in the world today, it is legal for youngsters to drive, youngsters under the age of 21 to be issued a license. More so, strong family supports the young drivers because it creates job in order to provide for themselves as a young adult. Young drivers will also know the good uses of traffic signs, etc. They will be able to educate people in their community and teach them the good use of a driver's license. The knowledge and experience you gain as a young individual must be the knowledge and experience you gain from 16 to 21. Judges, Mr. Speaker, my Lord friends of the preposition, haven't we thought of this? Certainly, yes. We were taught this during our classes before we set the exam to acquire our license. Judges, I would like to put on the record that my team and I will not rest until this audience is full aware that, unquote, driver's license should not be issued to person under 21. Should be issued to person under 21. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Davina. And now we go to the third speaker for the proposition, Ms. Dimple Jennifer Basdio from the Young Professionals Youth Group.
All protocols observed. Permit me, honorable judges, to further contribute to my team's argument on the psychological, physiological, and economic impact this has on individuals and our society. Francis E. Jensen, a professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School, states that teen drivers are more likely to be involved in car accidents as compared to older drivers, long thought to be a result of inexperienced teen driving accidents are now being linked to underdeveloped teenage brain. Between the ages of 15 to 25 years, the frontal lobe, which is part of the brain's cerebral cortex, is last to develop. It is a section responsible for motor skills and cognitive processes. Therefore, lacking a fully developed frontal brain, teen sorry. Therefore, lacking a fully developed frontal lobe, teen drivers are more likely to submit to peer pressure and engage in risky behaviors such as speeding and more so drag racing on our roadways or even recklessly switching lanes and tailgating. They're also less likely to make rational decisions in emotional situations. According to an American physician, Christopher Murray, 2018, and I quote, there will be very few children and lots of people over the age of 65, and that makes it very difficult to sustain a global society. End of quote. Now let us take a minute to think of all the profound social and economic consequences for a society with more grandparents than grandchildren. Mr. Speaker, increasing the age to acquire a driver's license to 21 years may encourage the younger population to exercise. If teenagers are no longer allowed to drive, they would have to find suitable alternatives to get around and would most likely use their bicycles or even walk, which in turn would significantly increase the overall fitness levels of the population. An official report published on June 21st, 2021 by the World Health Organization reveals that approximately 1.3 million people die each year as a result of road traffic crashes. Road traffic deaths and injuries does not only cause inconsolable grief to the affected families, but it is also places a considerable economic dent to nations on a whole. These losses arise from the cost of treatment as well as loss of productivity for those decreased or for those deceased or disabled by their injuries and for family members who need to take time off from work or school to care for the injured. Attentive members of the opposition, are you aware that road traffic crashes cost countries at least 3% of their gross domestic product? Sagacious judges, there's a well-known saying, no mother should bury a child. It is against nature. As my first speaker would have mentioned earlier, on the 2nd of February 2022, two young persons lost their lives in an accident. A mother lost her only child, who was the sole breadwinner for the family, whilst another family lost their only daughter. And we lost a comrade, a 2021 youth parliamentarian. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, how many more fatalities and more so youths and future leaders do we need to lose before the change is made? Isn't it evident enough that driver's license should not be issued to persons under 21 years? I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Basile. And the brave young lady is now going to take the podium, presenting from right here in Parliament, Ms. Ariana Roberts, the third Speaker of the Opposition from the Madia Youth Group. Ariana?
Good afternoon, all. I am Ariana Roberts, proudly representing Madia Youth Group as the third Speaker of the Opposition team. And today I am excited to expatiate on my point that the right of having a driver's license between the age of 16 and 21. We are living in a world today where young people are empowered and motivated to be independent, self-employed, owning businesses that accumulate funds that spikes the profit percentage income 100%. And in doing so, new opportunities present itself to be owners of assets for a better way of living. So for instance, I am 18 years old entrepreneur. I have a small business that brings in 100% each month. In a few months, I have a situated money to buy a motor vehicle in order to assist me with my business and personal use. So my first step is to apply for my driver's license. Bear in mind that I am 18 years old. It is therefore relevant to have the right to have my driver's license between the ages of 16 to 21. We, the Madia Youth Group, strongly and together oppose the move. driver's license should not be issued to persons under 21 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ariana. There we had the 6 presenters making their contributions to this debate. The moot being driver's license should not be issued to persons under 21 years of age. We are going to take a short break so that the teams can consult and prepare their rebuttals. At this time, we will ask Mr. Yannick December, our Public Relations Officer, to remind everyone about the rules of the competition.
Competition, no member shall be replaced. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The rules of the competition are as follows. Each team must consist of only 3 members, all from the same youth group. Failure to comply will result in the disqualification of the team. Once a team has started the competition, no member shall be replaced. The first speaker will be the first speaker of the proposition, followed by the first speaker of the opposition, and shall alternate in this order. The time allotted for each speaker are as follows. First speaker, 5 minutes. Second speaker, 4 minutes. Third speaker, 4 minutes. And for the rebuttal, 5 minutes. The rebuttal will be done by the first speaker on each team, in the order of opposing, then proposing. No new arguments or material shall be introduced into the rebuttal. 10 points will be deducted for introduction of new arguments. A bell will be rung first to indicate that the speaker should commence. The second bell will indicate that 1 minute is remaining, and there will be a final bell when the time has elapsed. 5 points will be deducted from each speaker who does not adhere to the allotted time. In the event of technical difficulties, a speaker may be allotted additional time. This is at the discretion of the judges. Speakers may refer to notes but should not read them. 5 points will be deducted from any speaker who reads a prepared speech. Points will be awarded for reasoning and logic, originality, relevance, mechanics, articulation, attitude to opponent, development of argument, and cohesion. And finally, the judges' decisions are final. Those are your rules for this year's Speakers National Youth Debating Competition. Best of luck to our participants. Mr. Speaker? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The rules of the competition.
Thank you very much, Yannick. That was Yannick December, our Public Relations Officer. I think the teams have 5 minutes to prepare their rebuttals. It is now 2:40. They have 2 minutes remaining before we call on the speaker from the opposition to start the rebuttal. To remind everyone, this is the second debate in the second Speakers National Youth Debating Competition. And today we have the Young Professionals Youth Group out of East Coast Demerara and the Madhya Youth Group, of course, out of Madhya, debating the moot driver's license should not be issued to persons under 21 years. You can zoom in on the link that we have posted, and also you can give your comments. Later on, we are going to give some of the comments that we have had so far during this debate. So teams, prepare yourself for the rebuttal. The rebuttals will start with Ms. Juanita Patrick from the Madia Youth Group, and she will be followed by Mr. Randy Diochan of the Young Professionals Youth Group out of East Coast. Reminding everyone today our judges are Mr. Delon Fraser, Dr. Delon Fraser, Ms. Anisha Mohammed, and Ms. Miracle Miller, our three judges for this second debate. And at 2:42, let us call on the first speaker in the rebuttal, Ms. Juanita Patrick from the Madia Youth Group, to make her presentation. Please remember to put on your camera.
Mr. Speaker, esteemed judges, members of the proposition, my voice resonates as I come before you once again to further convince you that driver's license should be given to persons under 21. My team and I believe the opinions of the proposition is so illusional. As the first speaker would have mentioned, we are living in the reality. And yes, we do believe this statement. Judges, we are certainly living in the reality where young individuals in the world today are empowered and motivated to be independent, self-employed, and owning businesses, as our third speaker would have mentioned. Your second speaker would have mentioned that there were once no legal age of issuing a driver's license in the United States. But what I would like you to really focus on is the country in which you are living in, which is our very own Guyana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Quinita. That was Quinita Patrick from the Madia Youth Group with her rebuttal. And now for the proposition, Mr. Randy Diochan from the Young Professionals Youth Group. Randy?
Mr. Speaker, before I highlight the fargo of misquotes, misrepresentation, and the logical fallacies used by the honorable members of the other side, I'm kindly asking for all of us to give a minute of silence for our lost comrade, Ms. Sharita Prasad. I don't know if we can have a minute of silence for my rebuttal time. Starting now. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Speaker, as I was listening to the second speaker, a quote from William Penn came to my attention. I like that the second speaker agreed with us. Thank you for that. And this is how the quote goes. In all debates, let truth be thy aim, not victory or an unjust interest. And I'm happy as a young person, you're interested in your safety. Thank you for that. Mr. Speaker, let's would like to deal with the speaker number one. She's asking if people are interested in listening to her learn or position. Well, she could learn a thing about referencing because she went back to 2020, cherry picked a little piece of statistic, January to March 2020, 22 to 45%. Whereas, and if she was interested in my speech, I would start it off. I give the statistics of 2022, and this is just part of it, Mr. Speaker. She also went on to talk about foundation, but no matter how can you talk about a foundation if you're not going to build it strong? You're looking at it as in a concept of starting early, but it doesn't mean starting early. It means having a strong foundation. So if you give these people the opportunity to have a longer time to learn, it will be better for them. So when the earthquake comes, your little foundation would get knocked down. But someone with a strong foundation is here to stay, like us. Mr. Speaker, my friend on the other side that agreed with us, she went on to talk about fast learner. But if she was listening to my third speaker, even though, and I agree with her too, yes, they may learn faster how to drive, but an increase in driving age may do more harm than good in such case. And my colleague was in number three was talking about brain development, and a part of our frontal lobe is not developed. Therefore, our motor skill and cognitive processes are not fully there. So yes, you're going to learn fast, but operating a vehicle is not just going forward, reverse. And I would like to bring to our attention the 5 C's: care, caution, consideration, common sense, and courtesy. And Mr. Speaker, the third speaker, she's talking about empowerment, being self-employed. Thank you for that. But I want you to look to your fellow two comrades and tell them that what happened to them? Let's say they're studying. What happens to them? So just because you have a business, oh, you're happy, you have a car, they have to study and wait. So where you gonna, when you have your license, you said you're saving to buy this car. So congratulations on getting your license, but what are you gonna use it for? Because the last time I vote, they didn't accept a driver's license as a form of identification. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you very much, Randy. And there we have it. All the presentations for this second debate in the second Speakers National Youth Debating Competition. The two groups, the Madi Youth Group opposing the theme, and the Young Professionals Youth Group proposing the theme, which was driver's license should not be issued to persons under 21. Our judges are now tabulating their scores, and they will take a few minutes to so do. But let me remind you of those judges that are here with us this afternoon for this second debate. We have Ms. Miracle Miller, who is a returning judge from last year. She's an active volunteer of the Georgetown Stabroek Youth Club. She has a passion for the English language and was best graduating English student when she graduated with her high school diploma from Christchurch Secondary School. I don't want to give you the year. In 2016 and 2017, Miracle participated in a youth training program hosted by the Department of Youth and was selected to be one of Guyana's youth ambassadors to the United Nations Youth Assembly. Ms. Miracle Miller got the Best Speaker Award for Youth Parliament 2018. And since she was last here last year, she graduated with a bachelor's degree in engineering in applied and exploration geology. The next speaker is Ms. Anisha Mohammed, who is the head of Guyana's Learning Channel at the Ministry of Education. Anisha is also the chairperson of the Board of Governors of the Westminster Secondary School. Ms. Mohammed has over 10 years in the private communication sector. She's very passionate about technology and education, career guidance, women's rights, and is a published author. She also, since being here last year, has acquired more qualifications, this time in media affairs, specializing in communication and engagement with Amity University from Uttar Pradesh. Our Chief Judge today is Superintendent Delon Fraser, Dr. Delon Fraser, who is a Toastmaster, a servant leader, holds a master's degree in business administration, social sciences degrees in international relations, law. He has been a judge of many debates and a distinguished Toastmaster himself. That's Dr. Delon Fraser, our Chief Judge. This afternoon, as before, our presentation has been attracting quite a bit of attention online. Anjali Ramlochan finds the mood very interesting, and she commends the young lady who came to present in person right here, Ms. Ariana Roberts in the National Assembly. We also have a comment from Chris Omacharan, that name sounds familiar, being one of our debaters last year. Great points, he says, being made by both teams. I just got a signal from the Chief Judge that the judges are ready. And so let me call on Ms. Miller to make a few comments.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mrs. Speaker. It is a pleasure to be here once again, adjudicating this prestigious occasion. Congratulations to all members of both the proposing and the opposing team. I will make a general comment on how the debate went, in my opinion. So for one team, there was a good use of references and there was great development of points. When we present a debate, we want to make sure that the points that we bring for the judges to peruse would be in a specific order as the first speaker would have called it. And in another team, we found there was no reference at all to the other side, and we also found that statistics were poor. We also found some contradictory statements in both sides who were arguing the moot, and overall it was a good debate. We did take away some very good points pertaining to psychology, pertaining to health, pertaining to statistics and everything. And I do hope that the points that we would have learned here, we take them and we can apply them to everyday life. Congratulations to the winning team. They have well deserved it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Judge Miller. Thank you very much, Judge Miller. Judge Anisha Mohammed.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here once again. I thank you for inviting me once again to adjudicate this debate and competition. And I must commend the team for putting it together. Once again, I know it's a lot of hard work behind the scenes. So kudos to you guys. As it relates to today's debate, I was expecting more because we're dealing with youths here and there should have been much, much stronger arguments especially given the fact that most of you should be within that age range to gather very, very good statistics on what is really happening with persons over and under age driving. There were some contradictions when it came to the moot. Even in the rebuttals, it could have been much, much better. There were many points that I gathered where both the proposition and the opposition contradicted themselves. I was looking forward for the rebuttal to bring that up. However, I did not hear it mentioned. The proposition contradicted themselves even in the rebuttal where the young man said raising the age will cause more harm. So we have to be very, very careful when articulating and presenting facts and or argument and building on that. Other than that, very well put together. Desist from reading and try to look at your audience a bit more and relate to your opposing team a bit more in future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mohammed and Chief Judge, Dr. Fraser.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, everyone. And of course, I wish to echo the sentiments of my other two judges. And we honestly thought it was a good debate this afternoon. We heard crucial points, salient points, especially coming from the young people, who, of course, this debate might affect a bit more, who wants to have their driver's license. Overall, I will be speaking on structure primarily, and I would usually tell young people whenever they're coming to speak, think of their presentation like a normal composition. You have an introduction, you have the development, and of course, the conclusion. While we did hear the introduction of some teams, of some persons, we were able to follow exactly what the team's arguments will be on, while as in comparison to the other, we weren't able to do so. And a good starting point to that, Mr. Speaker, is having them define the mood like they did, but what they failed to do is to give a very conclusive interpretation, which will set the foundation to their arguments. And so while they may have that, it will then give them a guide or a structure to flow from one point to the other to the other. We did not see this coming out from both sides. Some teams were basically whimsing it as far as where we're concerned, but we were looking at it. They had a nice structure to move and flow from. They failed to give us like a few good transitions so we can follow thoroughly with the arguments. Mr. Speaker, what I liked most about the debate is the experience that was infused in our arguments this afternoon coming from our speaker, the third speaker of the opposition, and it must be lauded. I admire the fact that she came here, she went to the podium, and she spoke. We saw the articulations, we saw your gestures, and we even were following your tone as you move through your presentation. Kudos. Now, I have that heartfelt task of delivering the scores. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to announce this afternoon that the judges did not have any disagreements with respect to selecting the best debater for this round. And that best debater is none other than Ms. Dimple Basdio of the proposition. And for the winning team this afternoon, the team of judges also did not have any difficulties in identifying the winners to this afternoon's debate. And with the score, one team scored 212 points, whilst the other team scored 252 points. Mr. Speaker, the winner for this afternoon's debate goes to the proposition Young Professionals Youth Group. I thank you.
Thank you, judges, and congratulations to the young professional youth group. Congratulations to the Madya youth group. I'm confident that the Madya youth group will go back and start preparing very early for the next competition. Congratulations to all. I want to say thanks to everyone for putting together this afternoon's debate, and especially to our participants and judges. Everyone, have a good rest of National Fasting Day 2022. Thank you very much.
From foreign places, talk about taking over. We ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountain.